Hey guys, Banana Luck here. Welcome back to another Watch Our Realms video. We're back on the test server again because I found some things about Eirlys that is gonna change everything. So I didn't manage to cover this in my initial review testing of Eirlys. I didn't think of this. I was just chatting with some of my Discord friends and we're wondering, how does Eirlys work if there's nothing to heal? Does she give the ultimate or the rage regen to anyone on the battle, or does she just straight up not do anything? And that sparked the entire chain reaction of what we're about to discuss here today, and that's exactly how we actually managed to find out all these things that I'm about to share that is going to change how you feel about Eirlys Awakenings. Alright, so before we get started, let's recap things a bit again. So, Eirlys gives Serene Breath on her talent, which grants 25% magic reduction as well as magic damage reduction. And she does this when she heals them. And when healing allies with Serene Breath, she restores 2% rage to herself, and then as well as the allies who get 2% rage per second instead of 1% when they get healed with Serene Breath. So that's something that we need to know. And then onto the ultimate, applies Healing Prayer to one ally with the lowest HP percentage in range. So this is not, I guess, clear enough in the sense that if everyone has 100% HP, then what does it do? So that's exactly what we're gonna review today. And then other than that, nothing else really to be that's too important that we need to take note of here. But let's actually get into the testing, and I'll show you guys how the prioritization works. So first thing we're gonna test is, what does Eirlys prioritize if everyone is max HP? So to test that, we need to do a few things. So first of all, we have multiple ground units. They all have different HP. So we need to first test if she targets the highest HP unit, which is going to be Cyrus here, or is she going to target Kane or Velara, which are much lower in terms of HP. So let's actually get in, and I'll show you the positions. So this is what we have, and we're going to do a few swaps around to test put our theory into test. Okay. So solo practice, there we go, and let's actually hit it. So we're not going to do any attacks at all. We're just going to let things run on their own, and let's see what she does. Okay, so there you go. You see she targets Velara, and let's see if things change in the second one, or is she always going to target the same unit. FYI, I already know the answers to all this. I'm just asking rhetoricals. Okay, so you can see here, once again, she targets Velara, and I'll just let you see it for another time. But basically, you can see that when the heal expires on the ultimate, when Healing Prayer expires, it counts as a heal, even though Velara is not getting healed at all. So she's actually getting Serene Breath with the double rage regen here. And let's see for one last time. There we go. Can see, and yeah, we are waiting for Serene Breath to actually expire. There we go. You saw that short heal, and then Serene Breath comes out here for 10 seconds. Alright, so now we've proven two things. First thing is that when Healing Prayer expires, it's gonna inflict a heal and grant Serene Breath. And yeah. Next thing, let's actually take a look at the team. Let's switch positions here, okay? So we know for a fact that she targeted Velara, but question is it because Velara is the lowest HP, or is it because of positioning? So to test that, we can just swap things around here. I'm going to swap Cyrus to where Velara was. This is going to tell us effectively whether she focuses on HP and position. So let's head in again, and we'll do the same thing. We're not going to run any soldiers. We're just waiting to see what he does. What she does, sorry. There you go, you have the answer. So when HP is not a constant, when all of their HP is at 100%, she basically targets units with her ultimate based on proximity. And I'm gonna prove this in a different scenario where I'm not sure if I did this test on one of the trials. But let's actually get that out of the way. So healing prayer expires, it inflicts a heal, and when everyone is max HP, she doesn't focus on who has the highest HP, she targets based on proximity. So now I want to actually go into one of these promotion rates. I want to see if I have a map that can actually allow me to prove some things here. Let's see. Okay, this is great positioning actually. Okay, we got Eirlys here, we got the ground units. Just gonna put a couple of units in here. Alright. So now that we know it prioritizes she prioritizes the the units closest to her. Now we need to know whether she focuses on units that are ground or platform. Is that like a priority? So we're gonna put Eirlys here. And then we want to wait for a bit here. Okay, we know she's targeting herself, that's fine. Then now we're gonna put both Kane and her here. And there you go. You can see perfectly clear here, she targets the left unit instead of the right here. And if let's say we are not convinced there, we can do things again in the same test. Sorry, actually what I want to do is I wanted to swap their positions so you can see that it's not a HP thing. So we put Kane here. And we do Valara. Oops, nearly placed in the wrong spot. Alright, and then we put Eirlys down here. And let's see where this goes to. And there you have it. So she prioritizes left always. She's not going to do right first. And then now one last thing that we need to test is actually whether she prioritizes platform or ground units. And to do that test, I'm not sure if I can actually run it here. I can run it here. Okay. So you can see in a bit how we do this. Lara here. They're going to do Kane. And let's see who she actually ultimates. There we go. So you have the answer. So in conclusion, if let's say Eirlys has no one to heal, everyone is on 100% HP, here's how the targeting works. She's going to target not based on their max HP, she's going to look at proximity instead. And how does that proximity rank? It's always going to be ground units over platform units. And then in terms of direction, it's going to be from left to right, as we've proven here. So I think that makes it very clear. So this is going to help a lot of people in GVG when it comes to deciding how you want to improve the rage regen on certain units. And you'll understand why when I move on to the next bit. So you remember how in the entire single target arena showcase that I did, if you caught that video, you have noticed that I said a couple of times, oh look, Wukong is getting Serene's breath as well. But we're not sure entirely why that was the case. And we see now, for examples, that if let's say there's no healing to be done at the moment, and Eirlys ultimate comes in, she's gonna focus on the unit from left to right, which in the arena showcase, we actually had Eirlys placed in such a position where Wukong was on the left, Kigiri was on the right. That's why you saw the Serene breath going to Wukong at times when Kigiri didn't need to be healed. So there's a lot of RNG involved in that, because in a very realistic scenario, you're always going to have Serene breath being casted on the tank. And let's actually put this to the testing. We're going to run this test with just access. And you're gonna see for a fact that, yes, for sure, Serene Breath is gonna go on the okay, I need to switch positions here before I run my test. I basically want to show you how things works when the tank is getting hit and who else gets the Serene Breath. Alright, so we're gonna have Cyrus there. Let's actually head in here and you guys will have a look at what I mean. So we've done the testing. We know what Serene Breath prioritizes when everyone is on full health. But now we want to see, in a real world scenario, how does the Serene Breath work when there's something attacking your tank? Because from a theoretical point of view, you will expect the Serene Breath to always go on the tank. And right here, we had the Valara getting Serene Breath because the ultimate came up and there was no one to heal. But now we can see with the Axis in the mix, we no longer have Valara getting Serene's Breath. Instead, we get Cyrus with Serene's Breath all the time. You can see the unyielding proccing here. Just bear in mind, Cyrus doesn't have his skeletons on, that's why he looks very weak. But you guys get the point. Serene Breath is never ever gonna go on Valara in this case. And here's the crazy part that I've been talking about the entire video, how her A1 is huge. So let's take a look at Valara's A1 again. Alright, so let's go to edit themes here. Okay, so with Valara, Eirlys. Why did I say Valara? Here is why Eirlys awakenings are crazy. So Eirlys is at A0 right now. There's nothing. This is the plain Jane kit that we have. But take a look at the A1. Direct healing from basic attack and healing prayer, which is basically all her sources of healing, applies a 1 additional instance of 15% healing to all allies with Serene's Breath. So when we took a look at this awakening at first, we were like, hey, you know what? This looks like a pretty meat awakening. It doesn't really do anything, but I could never be so wrong when it came to that. Because here's what you're gonna see in a bit where we actually swap in. I know this is A3 Eirlys, but ignore that. Her A1 is the only thing that matters here. But you're gonna see in a second here why that awakening is crazy. Okay, so we're gonna do the solo practice. We're gonna head in here. And let's actually throw in the Axis. So here's the thing. We know that Eirlys is always going to heal Valara first because of proximity and also ground melee platform priority. And here's the thing. Right now, Valara has Serene Breath, which means that A1, look at that right there. Every heal that she does to Cyrus is going to inflict an extra heal on Valara. And what that essentially does when you get to A1 is that she's always going to be healing 2 targets no matter what. And when she's healing 2 targets, what's going to happen? It means that the unit on the backline, even though she's not getting healed at all, not directly, she's just always going to get a double rage regen for the entire fight. And that's exactly why in my testings where we tested Wukong Kigiri in single target arena, that's why Wukong had double rage regen the whole entire time. It's because of Eirlys A1. Once there's a situation where Wukong and Kigiri both do not need to be healed, Eirlys is for sure going to place a healing prayer on Wukong, and that's just going to run this vicious cycle of always getting a heal on that backline unit. And this just changes everything because this makes Eirlys just insane. It's perpetually going to give double rage regen to 2 units in the entire fight as long as your tanks are getting hit. And here's the thing. If let's say your tanks are not getting hit, and your enemies are waiting, trying to time things, you're gonna hold off on the demon soldiers. Then the first bit that we talked about comes in handy again. Remember how when there's no one to heal, Eirlys will target the unit closest to her, which in most cases is gonna be the backlines, which means that she's always gonna give double rage regen to the backlines, which are essentially gonna be your DPS units. So I cannot understate how big this awakening is. It makes that double rage regen basically on 2 units the entire time. But even at base A0, Eirlys combined in any team is just going to essentially give your backlines almost like 100% ultimate uptime in that sense, because they're always going to get that double rich regen, and depending on the ultimate duration, you may end up with 40, 50, 60% rich regen, ultimate rich cost by the time the ultimate ends, and that's just huge. So I think that pretty much sums it up. I honestly thought this video would take just 10 minutes, but it took a lot of testing and a lot of showcase to actually get us here. I'm not going to pop into single target arena because I don't think I need to do that to showcase how important this awakening is. But basically, once you have Eirlys at A1, it's just going to double rich regen for most of the situations that you're going to use her in. And if let's say we talk specifically about her A3, it's also always going to give that 30% damage increase from just the thing expiring, even though she's not doing any heals. So right here, you're going to see an ultimate here at 212. And let's just see uptime, right? How high that is. There we go, another ultimate. So ultimate in every 15 seconds or so. And you can see that damage increase happening right there. 50%, which is crazy. So yeah. In case you guys didn't know what the A3 is, A3 basically gives damage increase when the healing prayer expires. So let's actually hit in here. There we go. When healing prayer triggers healing when the bearer's HP drops below 75%, grants damage increase to all allies with Serene's breath. So because Serene's breath is being triggered at A1 on all units, she's just always going to get that 50% increase. And then, yeah, if let's say it expires, then it's going to be 30% instead. But you can see we have 66% uptime. Depending on the earliest build, this could go even higher. But I can't stress enough how big this awakening is because bear in mind, it grants the damage increase to all allies with Serene's breath, which at A1 is just going to keep it on 2 units all the time as long as your tank is being attacked. So yeah, that's gonna be it for the video. Thanks for tuning in. I hope that was helpful. I just wanted to push out this video before we get there. Eirlys is a very, very strong healer at the way that we're looking at things here. So I hope this video goes out and showcases well how good Eirlys is. But that's gonna be it for the video. Thanks for tuning in. If you found it helpful, leave a like or subscribe to the channel. And I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.